Welcome to my channel. This is Teresa from Teresa's Crafty Cabana. Now that we're out of the holidays, I wanted to make something that was just fun and maybe for all occasion, maybe preparing for the new year. So I wanted to start with just a mixed media project and kind of see where it took me. So I started with this black mixed media paper. I've never used this before, so I wanted to try using this with my Distress inks. I've got some of the Distress Shimmer Mica Stains. These will sparkle really nice on black paper, so I thought these would be a good thing to try. I do have a little splat box that I'm going to use when I spray my sprays, and I was about to start spraying, but then I realized I wanted some kind of a resist on my paper, so I used these stamps to kind of create some different textures for the background with embossing before I added my spray stains. So for this first design, it's just kind of like a splotchy little like grunge look. I'm using my Versamark clear ink, and I'm just gonna create some texture on my background and see what this looks like. Because I was going for a grungy background, I wasn't too concerned with filling in the whole background, and I also was kind of changing the direction of it so that it had some interest. For this first layer of embossing, I'm going to use clear embossing ink. This is going to show the black background color through when I do my spray stains over this. Then I just embossed those. This is what the paper's looking like so far. My next layer, I'm going to use this kind of dotted circle stamp. They kind of remind me of the bubbles from the packaging bubbles. To mix this one up a little bit and to make it stand out a little bit more, I'm going to use some gold embossing powder. This paper is nice and thick. It's very much like Bristol paper or watercolor paper. It's very sturdy. So it does hold up well to this heat embossing. After I embossed the gold, I wanted one more layer. So this time I'm using this text stamp, and I'm just gonna kind of fold it and bend it. I'm not using the entire thing, I'm just using parts of it and pressing down with my finger onto the ink pad, and then in different areas pressing it onto the paper. I'm not being too careful about how much is showing because this is just going to be kind of like a background accent. I'm going all different directions with it. Doesn't matter if it's upside down or not. And then I'm going to take this pearl powder, and this on the black cardstock or paper, it shows almost like a blue once it's embossed. So I thought this was a nice mixture with the clear and the gold. Some of the word text went right over some of my other embossing, like the gold or the clear, and that was just fine. It actually made it look really cohesive, and it kind of blended it all together nicely. Once it was all embossed, I went ahead and put it in my splat box, and now I'm just using those 4 colors of Distress Mica Stains, and just kind of mixing them around the paper, just haphazardly choosing where to spray. Nothing in particular here, just wanting to get all the colors to blend just a little bit. And then I'm using that burnt umber, or the burning ember, to create contrast with the blues and the purples. So to mix it up a little bit more, I sprayed some of my stains onto my craft mat, and I'm just taking a wide brush here, and I'm making paint lines, just kind of anywhere that it looked like it needed a little bit of color, if it missed it on the spraying. And then I took the areas that had a lot of condensed color splotches, and I just used my paintbrush to kind of blend those out a little bit too. This adds some more interest to the page, and it also just kind of makes it look like it has another layer of texture with the brush marks. After I let this dry, I did use my embossing gun to heat and set this so it was dry. Then I sprayed just some water on a paper towel, and I'm just kind of rubbing it over the clear embossing so that the black paper shows through. I'm happy with how this is turning out, so now I'm ready to figure out what I want to do with it. I decided to make some cards, but before I cut up this piece of paper and turned it into my card bases, I decided to emboss this kind of scrap piece of paper I had with the same gold coloring that was on the dots, and that I hoped would tie the sentiments that I was going to use together with the background card. So this is kind of a cheat way to make some gold glitter cardstock if you don't have any on hand. This was actually a fine gold. I have a gold glitter one too that I could have used, so really whatever embossing powders you have would make a nice background for these word die cuts. So I chose a few of these word die cuts to cut out of this little piece here. And then I knew that they would match perfectly with the backgrounds because of the embossing powder that matched. Now to fold my card bases, I'm just taking an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I cut it in half at 5.5. Then I'm folding that in half by 4.25. And I'm taking one side and folding it backwards, just right there to the edge, and creating almost like an easel card by doing this. So I'm going to do that to all of my card base pieces. Again, just fold that in half, score it so it makes a traditional sized A2 card, and then fold up one side to the back. Now I had cut down all of my mixed media pieces, and I'm just kind of layering in the words where I want them. And my idea here was taking these larger shape dies, and I was going to cut out a piece from the top part and then use that piece that I cut out to help me create my easel so that it doesn't slide down. And you'll see what I mean once I create these. So I went ahead and cut out each of these little shapes from the background. And I made sure that it would still fit on the white piece. So once I glue it down, you'll just see the white background from the absence of that shape. And then you just want to glue right to that top portion, being careful not to get the glue too low so it doesn't glue to the other side of the card. Then you just line it up with the top. And this is how I decided to use the piece that I had cut out. I wanted to use it on the bottom side of the card, and then this would create a nice little stand for the easel part to lean up against. Just like that. And then it also ties it together so you have a little bit of design in the inside of the card and on the outside. Then I just glued my sentiment into the blank space, or part of my sentiment, and then the other part I glued on the mixed media portion. And just did that for each of my cards. So here it stands up really nice. And again, being that it's a thick card base, this black cardstock, or mixed media card, it really held up nice when I was standing it up. So it does well for this technique. Each of the little shapes hold the easel part. So I tested each of them to make sure that they would hold the card up. And then I just added all of the rest of the sentiments. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button. That gets it out to more viewers like you that enjoy this content. And if you're interested in becoming a subscriber, I'm new to doing all of these cards and jelly plate videos. So a lot of my videos have jelly plate in them, but this one has just like mixed media. So I enjoy doing mostly cards, but all sorts of crafty things. This one turned out really pretty with the blue and the orange together. For the rectangle-y square one, I wanted to offset that one from the bottom of it, unlike the others, and I used more like the side to hold it up. To dress these up a little bit, I had some Dollar Tree sequins in different pinks and purple colors. So I'm just going to pull out an odd amount. I decided to go with 7. I wanted to do 3 of these sequins inside of the shape cutout, the white area. And then to dress up those sequins, I have these holographic glitter pieces. So I decided to stick one of those in the inside since there was some glue popping out in the inside of those sequin pieces. Then I added 3 more sequins with the glitter to the mixed media part of the card. And then 1 of the sequins with the glitter to the inside die cut piece, just to tie it all together when the card is opened. Just gonna go through quickly. For this one I used stars in the inside instead of the circles because I had some holographic stars. So 2 of the cards I used the stars and 2 of the cards I used the circles. And here are my 4 cards that I finished. I did add a little star next to each of the words on the white part, just to look like a little shimmer is happening there. So this one's my hello, this one's my happy birthday. Then I have a thank you and a birthday wishes, and that completes my 4 cards. Kind of all occasion, just to get ready for the new year, to have cards on hand ready to use when I need to grab something. And I love having these kind of matching but also uniquely different, with the different shapes and the words, and even all of the backgrounds look slightly different just because they were kind of done on that mixed media background. So hope you enjoyed this video and will join me for the next one. Happy crafting!